It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline bling.
That can only mean one thing.
Shake it, ladies. Wow. You know, we're off to a flying start. Jenny and Nell, thank you so much for joining us. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. It's the Culinary Hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting. Keep shaking those hips. I love it. Guys, I've been going through the questions that are here already, and we'd love to hear more. Okay, we've got a brilliant panel here. 021-430-9881. I guarantee you they will be able to answer every question. But I'm looking at some of the questions that came through on Facebook. I'm stumped. Some of these things are really difficult, so I hope you're up for the challenge, ladies.
Yep.
I know you are. So I'm gonna.
No, we'll find out.
Exactly. No, or guess. We'll guess. Make an educated guess. So this first one is actually something that I can relate to because I love sweet potato, but and it tastes so amazing when you get it right, but when you get it wrong, not so much. And this one coming from Nadine Spreeth, who says, "Please help. Please help me," she says. "My sweet potatoes always go black when I cook. What can I do to avoid this? Have a blessed day." Thank you.
First of all, don't burn them because I think when it's black, the stove flame was too hot.
That's a little bit rude.
I think it's in the preparation. Yeah, but I think what happens when you cut a sweet potato or a potato, you open the cells, and these cells see the oxygen and then they go brown.
They oxidize.
Yes. Starch. Yes. So Jen.
What do you do then? That was a lovely scientific explanation of what happens, but absolutely no solution.
No, she's right. And that is absolutely right, because when you cut it, you're exposing it, and the starch starts to leach out.
So what's the key thing? What do you do to avoid that straight away?
I've got one and you got one.
Yeah, I think put it in a bit of water with a bit of lemon in it and let it sit in there before you use it.
Yes, and then I believe in that as well. But also, you know what, Boki? Salt.
Really, Jen?
Salt. I've never had a dark sweet potato with any flecks or freckles or nooks in it.
Do you put the salt in the water when you boil them?
No, when you're standing. You know, because often they turn as you're peeling them. They start oxidizing.
And the same thing applies to potatoes as well. Yes.
Well, not as quick.
Because they've got the starch
in
there as well.
Do you think the sweet potato, the salt closes the cells again in a way?
It's possible. It's quite possible. But I promise you, I learned that from Omar. Omar van die Vrystaat, not my real Omar. And I promise you, I never ever from that day, and she's put quite a bit in.
Do you put it in the water?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
While you're working.
Okay.
And it goes.
Okay,
I love this exchange of ideas here. You're going to both pass this off as your own advice later, I know it. But a really interesting question. Thank you so much. That one coming from Narith now. Let's move over to Sonia from Johannesburg. And this is another interesting one because it's winter. We're creating that comfort food. And maybe you can help her out here. When you make a pie, should you cook the meat first? And is it a myth that you need to boil the meat first because it's dirty? Are we living in the 16th century? What?
Not necessarily. You know what I think she means by boil? If there's bones in the meat and you're using, like, when I say scrap meat, it's like all those little offcuts with the bones and you want to get the meat. Yes, then you would be skimming it. But
I think you need to cook them beforehand because number one, the basic thing is that the pastry that you're going to put it in cooks in 20 or 25 minutes. Meat, like say beef, takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to actually cook properly.
And you want the fat to render, you want that meat to break down properly.
Yes, and if you fry, it does, Jenny, it's a flavour. Because it needs to be fried and browned and cooked properly. Otherwise, it's just boiled meat.
And just from a health perspective, you obviously need to take that temperature up to be able to kill whatever bacteria is in there. Safety first, but from a flavour perspective, you're saying cook the meat first, let the fat render, let it break down, and then you can put it into the pie, and then it's nice and soft.
I don't mind if I die, as long as it's a tasty death.
Dining red meat, eating that kind of red meat, we'll do it. So Sonia, hopefully that answers your question. Cook that meat first because it's not going to cook in the pie. It doesn't have enough time. Then this one coming through, a Mashinter Cafe Mashimbie. I don't know if that's your name, the name of your establishment, but it really is interesting. And this one is quite cool and quite pertinent at the moment. I know people tapping off because we've had beautiful rain. Thank you.
Yes.
But we still need to save water. We need another 2-3 years of rain like this to bring us back. So as for baking, you need water to wash the bowls after mixing. So what can you do to save water by not having to use a lot of water to clean the bowls?
Jenny?
I would just get some paper towel and wipe out all the gooey, sticky stuff. Use smaller bowls because you don't need as much water, but that's where my logic goes, is to just wipe it out.
Yeah, the thing is, at the end, you need one bowl and then measuring cups, I
That's
think.
it.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
So normally when you're baking, it's butter, sugar, eggs. So that's all in one bowl.
There you go.
One bowl. And then you measure first your dry ingredients and then your wet ingredients, if there's extra milk or oil. So then you'll only use one measuring jug and one bowl. Or is that forget?
Yeah, well, you can go in like that with a sieve, with your dry stuff into the whatever.
Yes.
Just a bit of planning, logistics, just plan your supply
Yes.
chain. So this one, I'm so glad we got into something that I can actually eat this morning. This one coming from Kelly from Johannesburg, and thank you so much, guys, for connecting with us on all of our social media platforms. But again, we'd love to hear from you if you have any questions. 021-430-9881. Did you just have a bite of that biscuit? You're allowed. You are more than allowed. Okay. Kelly from Johannesburg getting real here. When making ginger biscuits, what happens when you add the cream of tartar?
It's important to add the cream of tartar if you use baking soda, because you need the one to react. You need the cream of tartar to react the baking soda for a bit of leavening agent.
Yes,
Jenny,
absolutely. And also I think it affects the taste, because sometimes bicarb leaves that little miffy taste.
What is the key thing here? I mean, I love a ginger biscuit. How do you go about creating the perfect biscuit in this sense? Because a biscuit's not just about being crunchy. You want a bit of gooey. You want some chewy. And especially with a ginger biscuit here, you've got the perfect balance of that, like, quetza that's going to hit you, but also sweet and soft. Well, how do you approach making a beautiful biscuit?
I like to use brown sugar because that gives it that nice caramelly flavour, extra flavour. And the cream of tartar will also make it more gooey because it reacts with the sugar. It doesn't crystallise as the sugar so much.
Does cream of tartar have a taste? Is there?
Yes, it's sour. Yeah, do it.
It's a bit of...
What is it?
It's the scrapings. You know when they make wine, it's the bottom of the barrel. It's that white stuff. It's the stuff that clings to the thing, and they scrape it off.
So we literally are
natural.
scraping the bottom of the barrel
Exactly.
for this chat. That is ridiculous. No, that is awesome, and hopefully that's given you some nice tips on the sweet side. Now, of course, winter is all about, like we were saying, comfort food. It's about creating beautiful soups where you can infuse flavors. You can let it cook for a long time, like a slow-cooked broth. We're going to start tackling some creative ways that you can approach and answer some, again, very difficult questions, but very creative questions. But we'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions relating to broths, to soups, give us a call, 021-430-9881. We are ready and waiting to take your questions on the Culinary Hotline. Bling!
Ting, ting, ting!
Did you do the hip shake?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary Hotline Bling.
That can only mean one thing.
Work it. It can only mean one thing. It's the Culinary Hotline. Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Thank you so much for joining us. Jenny and Anel have blown my mind already with some incredible information. Thank you so much, ladies. It's like plugging into this tome of knowledge. I absolutely love that. But we've got a caller on the line. Yes? Gerard. Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, and you, Graham?
Very, very good. Thank you so much for connecting. As you can see, the ladies are waiting with bated breath to answer your conundrum. What's your question?
Much appreciated. Graham, Jenny, Anel is Gerrit hier van Hartbeespoortdam.
Hallo Gerard.
Goed en julle.
Baie goed, dankie.
Ek wil net weet, as ek my kaaskoeke bak, dan as jy hom uit die oond uithaal, dan sak hy in die middel. Jy weet, hy is nie gelyk in solid bo nie. Wat moet ek doen om dit gelyk te kry?
Oh, there's anguish in that voice. There's anguish. I'm sorry that you have to go through this. Let's see if we can help. Okay, so first of all, what's going on here? What's causing this, and how can we remedy it?
Yeah, I think his oven, number one, is his oven is perhaps too hot. So perhaps he needs to put the temperature a bit down and bake it a bit longer, because it bakes from the outside in. So definitely the inside hasn't baked properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool your jets, Gerard. Cool your jets, man. Yeah.
And what would you
I'm trying.
No, exactly what Anel is saying, because it does. The mixture cooks from the outside in, and with a cheesecake, you want it to just do that. Just wiggle wobble.
So if you have to give it a little, it would just.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to leave it in the oven. So you switch it off and you put a wooden spoon in it and let it cool down naturally, otherwise it'll suck.
Okay, and
as well,
how
yeah.
long do you cook and then turn off and leave? Because surely with that heat is going to stay there for
That's
a while.
what you want. That's why you want it to be
How long should the
wobbly.
process of putting it in and to taking it out?
Well, I
take it?
suggest you follow the recipe because it depends on the size
and the thing, but
and
it's
all of
normally
that,
probably
yeah.
about 45 minutes or so, 40 minutes. Gerard, I think if
Yes.
it happens over and over again, dink jy moet jy na jou resep kyk. Jy weet, en ek dink daar's baie goeie resepte op Expresso se webtuiste. So kyk miskien daarop vir 'n goeie resep. En dan kyk net hoe verskil dit van jou resep, jy weet, want eintlik as jy hom lekker lank en stadig bak, moet hy nie dit doen nie.
Yeah.
You weet.
And then also leave it until it's cold.
Ja.
So I must leave it like totally to cool it off in the oven.
Ja.
Yes.
Ja.
Yes.
En laat weet ons hoe dit gewerk het asseblief. Ek sal graag van jou wil hoor.
Nee, baie dankie.
I think the problem is it looks so delicious that you're just diving right in there and eating it before it's had time to cool down. Gerard, baie dankie. Awesome question. Hopefully that has solved that cooking conundrum. Now, how much do you feel like a piece of cheesecake right now? Okay, so let's get back onto a savoury path here. I'm loving experimenting with soups, with broths, stews you can even kind of throw into the mix there. But we've got some really interesting questions coming through relating to stews and soups. But for me, busy, I want to make a nice soup. I want to savour the flavour for the whole week. How do you store a soup? Can you freeze them? How should you freeze it? How should you unfreeze it? What's the watchword there?
Jen?
Well, you know what, you most certainly can freeze the soup. The only thing is when you bring it back to life again, you're going to have to add some fresh herbs and things like that to sort of make it vibrant again. And a soup can actually stay in the freezer for 4 to 6 months.
Wow.
So sometimes what I do is in the autumn, I freeze for like 2 months worth of soup.
Then, because you don't want it to separate and be all once you've now thawed it out. How do you thaw out a soup or a stew, for that matter?
I will thaw it out naturally outside,
Yes.
you know, but I thaw mine in the microwave as well. Jy weet, sit ek in die microgolf en sit hom op die thaw setting and thaw it inside there. But what the people must be careful about is potatoes.
Yes.
If you use potatoes in your soup or a potato-based soup, I think be careful to freeze it, want aardappels vries nie baie goed nie. It doesn't freeze very well. So it will taste funny. So I think any other broth or vegetables, if you use like carrots or meat, and they freeze very, very well.
Very well, yeah.
Okay.
And then what I'll also suggest, sorry Graham, is if you bake soup, it's normally a big pot. What I do is I take small bowls and I put like a
store
little
it
container
individually,
in a plastic bag or something inside, then I pour it in and then I freeze it, then I take it out of the bowl and then I freeze it like in portions.
So I do. Tupperware.
And just
Square.
a portion size. I'm
Yeah.
just picturing you leaving soup outside to try and thaw and it coming in more frozen than when you put it outside. It's that cold. I think we've got Louisa on the line. Is that Louisa?
Yes.
Hello,
Good
Lisa.
morning. How are you doing?
Morning, I'm finding you.
Very good, thanks. Thanks so much for connecting with us. What is your cooking conundrum this morning?
I just want to know, is there a difference between baking powder and baking soda? And if so, what is the difference? Can you use both of them in baking or not?
Awesome question. Question of the day.
Well, normally a cake would cause for baking powder, which has got cream of tartar and bicarb.
Bicarb in it.
But if you're making a malva pudding or anything that you need to turn brown, you often will find bicarb in it.
Yeah, baking soda and
Yes,
bicarb.
and
Because
bicarb,
it two needs to go together.
Together to
Because
activate.
in baking powder is the mixture already of bicarb and the perfect mixture of bicarb and
Cream of tartar.
cream of tartar to rise your cake wood. But if you do, as Jenny said, if you want something brown, you use baking soda plus extra. Yeah.
So they work hand in hand.
But you don't
and
use
the
them
one
together.
is an activator.
Not I find recipes sometimes that you use both, like a bit of baking powder plus cream of tartar or something like that.
Yeah.
But normally it's one thing, like baking powder or
Yeah.
cream of tartar and baking soda.
Yeah.
Okay, that confused me a little bit, okay, but I feel like
what
we're
I
on the
did.
right path here. So hopefully that answered your question to some degree. Thank you so much, Louisa. Guys, getting back to our soups, I've got a question here. A blonde...
That's me.
You know,
That's
is that a blonde soup? What does that mean?
This
when
is a
you've got
blonde
a blonde
broth
and a
or a
brown?
blonde stock, and this is Anel and this is Jenny. Blondes have more fun.
That's
That
what
one's
you
really,
think, doll.
that one's really spicy. I'm
yeah.
guessing. So primarily, what is the difference here? I'm thinking like red meat and chicken, but I doubt that's right.
A blonde stock is when you take the bone, say chicken or any bone, and you don't brown it beforehand. You just throw it in the pot with your vegetables. A brown stock is when you take your bones, say your meat bones, your murgbene and all that, and you bake it in the oven and you brown it for about 40 minutes.
caramelize it.
Yeah, and then you get this.
And you get the same thing in sauces. You'll see a blonde sauce
Yes.
or a dirty sauce if it's Cajun cooking. And it's the same thing. It's taking that flour and cooking it till you get that deeper colour.
Yes.
Wow. And
Blonde
is there,
brunettes.
which do you prefer? Which is
Both.
because horses for courses.
I think
gonna
they're
give you
used for different
very different
stuff.
flavour profiles.
Yeah, I think they're used for different stuff. This is like for chicken soup.
Yes, nice and gentle. That's got a lot of depth.
It's got a bit of
Flavour,
punch.
yeah.
It's got a bam.
Yes.
Like our Jen. Okay, so I've got to ask you one last question because, and you'll see I brought my team of Akina Force here. Winter is all about feeling healthy, feeling better, and as much as we want to leap to medication because we feel the need, for me it's about finding healthy remedies like my Akina Force, which I'm taking all the time, but you've got to feed yourself. You've got to strengthen your body. What would go into a healthy soup for you? When you get sick and you want to feel better, what do you make?
Should we bounce these ingredients together?
Yeah, you can start, Jen.
Why don't we start with some cayenne pepper?
Yeah, cayenne pepper. And especially for winter, for vitamin C, spinach.
All the green stuff.
Yeah, all the green stuff. And
Superfood.
then red peppers has got the most vitamin C than
Exactly.
any citrus fruit.
Really?
So, yeah.
And parsley. Parsley is
Parsley,
very high.
yeah.
And use the stems. And what about some black pepper and garlic?
Yeah.
And ginger for zing.
You've
Yeah,
gotta have
and
a look.
ginger and turmeric for immune system. It boosts
Exactly.
your immune system.
Exactly.
So all of those things, gooi it in.
This is going to be the most exciting soup that anyone has ever eaten.
Mushrooms.
In fact, if you can come up with a recipe that includes all of those in one soup, we'll give you a very special prize. But there you have it. There are so many ingredients that you can take to either boost your immune system, help clear those airways, just make you feel better because you're eating something delicious. But take the time to feed yourself because it shows that you care about what you're putting in.
Well, you could pop that and make it even easier.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't have the time to brown your bones for your dark, dirty stock over there. But guys, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I feel like my brain is about to explode with all of the new knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our culinary hotline. Bling, ting, ting, ting.
Akina Force is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.